Chad Loughrige, product manager at MusicMax Distribution. We're the U.S. distributors for WesAudio, and I'm super excited to be here with producer, composer, engineer, modular synth guru, Michele Canova Iorfida. Good to see you, Michele.
Good to see you, Chad. Nice to see you.
Thanks for being here. I just want to hang out a little bit, tell everybody about what you're doing online, maybe talk a little bit about WesAudio gear and your setup a touch. But for those of you that don't, or for those of us that don't know, tell us a little about your world, about the work that you do.
For sure. I'm an Italian music producer and songwriter. I moved to US in 2012, and I'm, constantly, especially during COVID right now, like songwriting remotely. I'm producing artists, developing artists, both in Europe and in America. I have a new record company distributed by Universal called Canova Records that's actually started distributing, that started releasing music in 2020 during COVID. And I'm actually more involved in social media than ever because of COVID and the push to, start like talking to people because of our isolation, in these lockdowns. I started my own Twitch channel, and I'm actually having, I would say, 3 to 4 weekly meetings on my Instagram Live and on my Twitch, so I'm
just terrific. And where are you working at right now? I mean, your setup there is just absolutely incredible.
I'm working out of the guest room in my house.
Is that right?
COVID. So slowly became from like just a laptop and a couple of speakers to a full-blown, recording studio with a proper cloud and a little bit of treatment and a lot of gear,
Great. Yeah, I absolutely love watching your Twitch streams. We'll talk about that here maybe in a little bit, but I do have to ask, I think you were just telling us that you added a WesAudio ngBusComp into your collection, and then perhaps maybe a WesAudio Titan chassis and the Prometheus module, if I think. So how do you incorporate those into your workflow?
So it's interesting because Prometheus is actually the last piece of WesAudio gear that I got, and I found myself using it more and more when I'm mixing on my outside of the box setup. So basically, what I do, the Prometheus is actually on my insert of my copy Summer on channel 15 and 16. Okay. And it's basically those channels dedicated for the vocal bus. So what happens is basically I assign my vocals to 15 and 16, and after hitting the Summer, before hitting channel 15 and 16, they hit a mix of a Little Lab LL2A, which is this new compressor, by Little Audio, and subsequently after Little Labs is the Prometheus, which is actually in front of me. And basically that goes on my vocal bus before going back to my Fusion and entering back my Symphony. So it's my go-to basically finalizer, equalizer for vocals, which,
gotcha.
When you're already working in the box with a lot of plugins, creating your own buses, your own background vocals, auxes, everything, and then everything stems out to the stereo bus. But then you're mixing, you're approaching, like the last couple of hours where you're actually finalizing, and then you miss that, wonderful like 16 kilohertz boost of a Pultec or a 20 kilohertz boost, or even like a little boost on the low end on a vocal. That's why my WesAudio is right there, because I can save it. I can recall it. Right. I don't even have to worry about it. I don't even I love that I can actually automate,
That was going to be my question. Yeah.
So I can grab a fader, actually a knob, and put that in automation, and maybe in the chorus, give that half of a dB more of the presence in the vocals, and I don't have to worry, I save it. And when I open the session, everything is there.
It comes right back up. No, that's terrific.
Talking about the ngBus compressor, I found myself more and more working with ngBus compressor, both during acquisitions, so during recording. So I'm, let's say, recording my modular synthesizer. I'm recording maybe on my left side. I'm sorry, maybe I can even move it
great.
Quickly. Let's see. So basically the modular synthesizer, the left side, so what you see on the right actually.
Yep.
Right there, it's my drum, basically modular synthesizer. So sometimes you need something to squeeze a little bit of transients, or to, in some way limit, the huge dynamic range that a modular synthesizer has. So that's the ngBus compressor is perfect for that reason, because I can still use it in parallel. So let's say in some way compact and have a better RMS value of what it's coming out of the modular without compromising, the transients and the sound. Mixing wise, his place for now, 95% is on my drum bus, on my main drum bus. So be it in the box, be it outside the box, my main drum bus, and I'm not even talking about the parallels, but just the main one, it's always that, together maybe with a pull deck or something else,
And then you end up
probably I need another Prometheus. That's why, because one is on the vocals. No, but the fact is that when you're mixing and you have, both a great, SSL style compressor, the parallel options, and the THD, let's call it the saturation distortion option to add to the mix, it's one stop. You don't have to pull out like 3-4 different parallels. You can do everything basically with one outward gear.
And that was going to be my question. If you found yourself doing any sound design or that sort of thing, like what does the ngBusComp do for you? Do you use it for added texture? It's got the iron feature, it's got the THD.
Recording, as I said, when I'm using on the modular, it's more for like shaving a little bit of the transient and making the whole dynamic a little bit more contained. But actually, that you are telling me the other day, I was actually using it on so I have a system called Inner Clock system. I don't remember, SyncClock. Basically, it's this mix of software and hardware from Australia, where basically through an AAX plugin, you send this old protocol called SyncClock on two audio outputs, and then you have these boxes, be it in Euromodular format or even simple boxes that you drop around the studio. They get those two audio lines and they convert that in a almost sample accurate MIDI clock,
Awesome.
So all my studio is basically wired with this. So if I press play on Pro Tools, I add everything like MPC, my analog rhythm from Electron, then all the arpeggiators from all the synthesizers, and also an 808 and the modular. They run perfectly.
I love it. Last stream I saw, you were hitting play, everything started going. So cool.
Which to me is a must, because listen, we live in a world where we need to, I need to be so productive and to be able to stream out like 3 to 4, singles at least every month. So recallability is key. So clearly everyone is working in the box. And when you work with outside the box equipment, you need to work it fast, to have it working super fast. So everything needs to be connected. That's why I have this mix between SoundGrid Studio from Waves and now Matrix Studio from Avid, Dante system, so that I can deploy literally have 8 interfaces around this small room. So everything is connected, but also MIDI wise and synchronization wise, it needs to be perfectly sample accurate, because the worst thing is you're programming something in the box like a kick drum, and then you want to overlay or you want to layer up, let's say an 808 or whatever you have on your hardware setup, and they start flamming a little bit, which is, not only it's a killer for the vibe, but it's also killer for your editing time.
Sure.
This system really works like that. And I remember I was using my Deckard's Dream from Black Corporation. It's like a remake of the CS80 from a Japanese company. And I was jamming with that. I was jamming with my 808. And I was basically, what I was doing, it was sending a parallel of all these outputs to the ngBus compressor. And I was actually... everything was perfectly, sample accurate because of the latest compensation of Pro Tools. And so I was mixing the direct sound with, all this overly compressed, stem that was coming out of the ngBus compressor. And then what I did is bouncing everything together to create the core of a song, So sometimes, it's a tool, it's a shaping tool, because you can achieve easily, 30, 40 dB of extra crazy compression, you know, with no attack and fast release so that it pumps out. So it becomes a timbre tool, you know. It's more of a it's more of a equalizer, you know, in that kind.
Yeah,
it's more of an EQ than a compressor. You know, it's a flavor. Yeah.
Sure. Oh yeah, when I was watching, just the creativity of having everything synchronized and being able to go from one sound to another, and it's just right there. You turn it on and it's playing. You know, your MPC is playing, whatever the case may be. Your modular is synced up.
Also, I want to say something. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I was so surprised about the update process. You know, it pops out automatically. You know, the software that's always there.
Yeah. Hey,
and it tells you that there's a firmware, the new firmware, and it does everything by itself. You know. That's how it should be.
That's right. That's very nice. Absolutely. And all the plugins are, they're all part of the update process. So you're always sure that you're up to date with all of that. So, so when I was watching some of your Twitch streams, I mean, you have just an amazing setup. You really spent time, you know, getting multi-cameras around the room. You're showcasing your screen at the same time. You've got a great control to be able to switch over. If somebody asks a question, you can switch over to a different view. Exactly. I mean, really, I'm very interested for everyone to know, like, why? What's your motivation? I mean, I know COVID is your motivation. You're really, you know, interested in getting these streams out, but you know, for yourself, you're a working, you know, artist and producer, and then you take time out for the community and show them what you're doing.
The game is changing since when, you know, legal, you know, digital download and then subsequently legal streaming, you know, became a thing, you know, and now, so the digital, it's not only about digital distribution, it's about digital everything right now. You know, we're going to be our own marketers. You know, we already are through our Instagram, you know, our Instagram accounts, you know, through our social, you know, output. So, I mean, the only thing I know how to do great, you know, it's making music, it's producing, it's showing my techniques. So I think there's never been a better way, a better moment and a better way now with all these tools to start streaming yourself and showing. And I love, and after I started doing it in March and April of last year, and it was really more coming out from a, you know, a will to socialize with people because we were locked down.
Right.
Now, I like it so much, the feedback, you know, creating a community. I have a Telegram, you know, private, you know, community that I add people only when I see that people are really passionate. So I'm growing that. I'm growing my subscription model that for now it's totally free. It's canova.pro. So people can go on the website and subscribe and they get free presets, they get free sample pack almost every week, you know, because I think that in the future, you can't build anything if you first don't build a community of people that they share same interests. So I lucky enough to have people that love, you know, what I'm doing, or they ask me something like about how to program an MPC and how to sync it with Pro Tools. What's the best way? Or simply, you know, just talk about sample packs or how to properly, you know, emulate a null sampler and sequencer like an SP1200, you know. So it's growing because of the passion of people and my passion, you know. So I think, like, actually, you know, in some way, sooner or later, you can even monetize this. But for now, I'm just happy like it is, you know. Like,
that's terrific.
You know, and I got so many precious info in the past from colleagues and people that I was working with, both in Europe and now in America, at Sunset Sound, where I had my studio for 3 years, and then Fab Factory. So it's almost like giving back, you know. I love it. And once you start giving back to people, you're actually also learning a lot. Because I found myself reading in this private, you know, forum that we have, I mean, community on Telegram. Sometimes they tell me news that I don't even know, like people like they scavenge the internet for like the craziest, you know, Euro modular, you know, module or whatever, you know. So it's great. It's almost like I started everything, but now they are feeding me like other stuff, news, you know.
That's great. So tell us where everybody can find you at then on.
So the easiest thing is start from the website. It's canova.pro. And in the website, you have all the links to my Twitch accounts, to my YouTube channel that's really growing right now. Every Twitch stream that I do, I upload on YouTube. So you can find offline everything that I do, because as you probably know, Twitch, after a month, start deleting everything I don't think there's a way to, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a way to keep everything on Twitch. So on Canova Pro, like I said, they will find the Twitch, the YouTube, my Instagram account, and also they will find a nice little touch that my webmaster put, so you can see when I'm online. So you can see, you know, like if I'm online or not. And then if you go on Twitch, you'll see all the schedule and everything.
That is exact. You should tell your webmaster at work. That's the exact. Last time I was looking over your webpage again, and there it popped right up. You were live and switched right over. So it's working.
Great. Yeah, that's a good. I don't know how she did it, but to me, like it's a mystery. I mean, I know basic, you know, like programming, but like that is great.
That's good stuff. Well, Michele, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. So glad that you're having success with the WesAudio products. We'll keep up the conversation. We'll make sure and catch you online.
For sure. Thank you very much for telling me. Bye.
You got it. Take care.
Bye, chat. Bye.